For either of you, I'd like to ask about Malik McDowell and his transition this year and what he's done, and he seems to have become a better player and improvement.
Go ahead, Tressel.
Well, I'll tell you this. The consistency has stepped up. Every single play going hard, he's improved. Last year there was glimpses of a great player. This year, I think every down you need to be prepared for him to be in your backfield. I know that our D-line as a whole has really stepped up the intensity the past half of the season, and that's Malik, that's Shalik, that's LT, that's the whole crew. But certainly Malik McDowell is a guy you need to keep out of your backfield.
Where is he unique abilities? There's somebody similar. He was the number one kid coming out of high school and all that. What does he have? What are his attributes that separate him? He's different.
Yeah, he is different. The first thing that's obvious is his length. Okay, there's huge advantages with having that wingspan in terms of separation and disengaging from blocks. But what makes him special is a lot of times that length can be a detriment at times when you're playing inside. And he has the ability to get low when needed. He has the ability to turn and torque his body to play in positions of leverage, which a lot of time long guys don't have the ability to do. And Coach Burton's doing a great job working with him. But also that's a natural feel he has to be able to fight pressure and feel where that pressure is coming from.
Mike, how much has Darian embraced that leadership role this year, and what makes him so cut out for that? It seems like it's kind of always been there for him.
Yeah, he always has been a leader. It started earlier in his career just purely by example. He's always been one of the hardest workers. He's always been one of the first to show up. He's always been a guy that finishes through the line every single time. So the rest of the team sees that, and it started out leadership by example. And then once he starts playing more and once he starts making more plays, he feels more comfortable being vocal. And on the field, he's had his best year. So those natural leadership skills are really coming to the forefront because of what he's doing on the field and off.
This is for either of you guys. I wanted to ask about the defense. It seems like the last few weeks it's all started to come together for this unit. And some guys talking about how it feels more like what they're used to, the dominating Michigan State defense. And what do you think the difference has been for these guys over the last few weeks? Is it just getting healthy, or what is it?
I think health has a lot to do with it, and getting adjusted to, new coordinators, even though the system was the same and all those type of things. But they had to get adjusted to Mike and I doing it as well. And I think they have. And along with getting healthy, that was a big deal. We have lost some guys that we felt like would have been major contributors for us for the season and all those type of things. But one thing we never did do was talk about it. We just kept on playing and next man up mentality. And we said back in the summer that a championship team is only as good as its backups. Well, we found that out this year for sure. So good for them for coming together at the right time. November is a month for contenders. We all know that. And as we continue on through the playoffs and those type of things, they know that this is our time. This is our time. Let's get it done.
Harlan, before the Iowa game, you were preaching to the guys in the locker room with 3 simple words written on the whiteboard: fast, physical, violent. That's exactly how they played in a black and blue football game. So just going up against Alabama, Derrick Henry in that offense, how big is it going to be to play by those 3 words and that mantra? It's a must.
It's a must. And that's how we should always play, not only against those guys, but always. That should be our mindset, our mentality going into every game. And they've done that, especially in the month of November for the most part. We've done that. And, that's a good mantra. So we're going to keep pumping it out and keep getting it done.
This for both of you guys. What is it about Sheila Calhoun's personality that makes him so valuable to your program?
Good. Well, Shalik, as you know, I heard he was here already holding court. But he's naturally a people person. You know what I mean? He's a smart young man. He's always been that way. He's sincere, and he's a hard worker. So you love a guy like that. You love a guy like that, man, that really cares about his teammates, that's a hard worker, that plays well and shows up on game day. Great to hear his parents. You know, what is it about him? Maybe it's his parents. You got to ask them that question. But he's just a great young man to be around on a daily basis. And you know what you're going to get, and love having him on our team.
Coach Barnett, what are your expectations for RJ? Maybe not just what he's going to bring on the field, but also the leadership attributes and emotional.
Well, we expect a lot from him. He's a very experienced player on our team, in our secondary, who was part of what we were talking about earlier about injuries and things like that. So we did miss him, but it's good to have him back. He was always involved and engaged in everything that we were doing, even while he was out. So it's not like he's behind on anything and understanding techniques or any tweaks or things that we have made throughout the course of the year. So we're excited to have him back. We're excited to have him back. He'll contribute heavily in this game.
That was my question. So I'll go back to Derrick Henry for both of you, I guess. It seems like a lot of games they've really been able, especially against Florida, finally late in games, wear people down. I guess how important is tackling, but also using your depth, early in this game to avoid that?
There's no doubt with a guy as big as he is, as fast as he is, as physical as he is, especially when he's getting the ball potentially 40 times a game, you need to be prepared to play for 60 minutes. And really our last few games, we've talked about we need to prepare for a 15-round fight, and we need to prepare to take blows and deliver blows right up to the very end, which we did in the Big Ten championship game. But that has to be our mindset. It has to be our mindset that we're going to need to want to tackle and want to tackle physical every single snap. And with a big man, you can see there were times as the year progressed and as games progressed that people started thinking twice about wanting to throw their body around. So the mindset is the start, and then the second thing is the depth. And we feel like we do have a two-deep, pretty much D-line, linebacker, secondary that we can roll in there so that the guys stay fresh both mentally and physically.
Harlan, Coach D always talks about completing that circle. Your circle goes back further than his because you played in a Rose Bowl, and then you coached in a Rose Bowl and coached in that bowl. Your first year as CoCoordinator, you're playing for a national championship. How crazy is this?
It's awesome, man. God's plan is the way I can say it, man. I never envisioned even coming to Michigan State. That's not even talk college football when I was in high school. I'm just playing high school football. It wasn't like it is nowadays where guys getting recruited as ninth graders and all those type of things. So, it wasn't until late in my junior year of high school, almost senior year, where I'm thinking, I got a chance to go play college football. And then to come to Michigan State, didn't know much about Michigan State at the time. And to come here has been awesome. It was a great experience for 5 years. I got redshirted. And then to come back and never even anticipate that, even being a coach for that matter. So it's awesome. It's been great, man, and look forward to it. And back in 1987, after the 88 Rose Bowl, but the 87 season, the 88 summer, I'm not going to share it, so don't ask me, but I'm going to tell you guys about it. But I made up a rap. I was into rap and all that stuff about going to the national championship. I've shared it with the guys the Rose Bowl year, and now we got a chance to actually possibly get it done.
Oh, come on, the lights are on. Now's your time.
No.
Do you hear from any of those teammates about, man, you're playing for a national championship? Are you
Oh, yeah. I've heard from a lot of the guys. After the Ohio State game, after the Big Ten championship game, my text messages were through the roof. And they're all excited and really happy for the Spartans.
To either one of you guys, can you just comment on, there's a kind of a passing of the torch back here in the back.
Okay.
There's kind of a passing of the torch with the Bulla family for generation upon generation. Can you talk about how Riley and Byron are kind of picking up the torch and running with it?
Well, the Bulls all seem to have the same mentality. They love football. They love the physical aspect of the game. They're passionate people, so whatever they're doing, it's all in. And they also all seem to have some leadership characteristics that are really unbelievable, to be honest with you. In my time here at Michigan State, that started with Max, and from day one, you could see the leadership ability. Now, obviously, he has size, he has physical talents that haven't played in the NFL, but you can see leadership from day one. And it was really exciting to see once Riley got into the role he's in, those same characteristics coming forth. And I can tell that Byron's have the exact same thing. So it's neat to see the passion. And let me tell you something else. Every one of them bleeds green. So that makes a big difference as well.
Harlan, you played right here. You played for Nick Saban a couple different times. You've coached with him your first stop. Did he influence at all your coaching style or kind of how you approach becoming a coach?
Absolutely. The basis of how I coach defensive backs are from Nick. Great defensive back coach. I learned a lot from him, and the reason why I have this job right now is because of that, because Coach D'Antonio and I both speak Sabanism. So that's how I got the job at the University of Cincinnati, initially with Coach D'Antonio, and been with him ever since. But the basis, my foundational teaching and how I teach is from what he's taught me in the past.
Do you guys talk at all with this team about how that last meeting with Alabama went, or do you just leave that in the past and for them to know if they already know?
They know about the last time we played Alabama. I also think they view it much like we do, which that was a completely different team, and we were at a different point in our program in 2010 that we are here in 2015. And we're excited for the opportunity to show ourselves, as well as everybody else, where this program's come over the past 5 years.
One more over here for you guys left. One more on Shalik. Watching him in Indy, does it seem like maybe he saved his best for last? And just did you see anything or sense anything different from him going into that game? His teammates talked about maybe he was quiet for a change actually before that game.
Well, you see a different Shalik every game sometimes as far as his you never, and that's not just Shalik, that's all players, man. You just don't know. You're trying to figure, are they ready or not? Sometimes they're joking around, sometimes they're serious, and you just can't judge a guy how they're doing. But as far as saving his best for last, I wouldn't say that in particular, because his mentality is to go out every game and to play his best. But obviously now it's showtime to get it done, with championship game, big-time players show up at big times and big-time games. So we're happy to see that. He really turned it on versus Iowa, and hopefully he can continue it on versus Alabama.
For both of you guys, coaches, you were both named co-defensive coordinators around this time last year. Can you just sort of reflect on how this past year has been stepping into these new roles?
From my perspective, we've been together for a long time, so we had a picture in our mind of how this was going to work and which roles each of us would take over. And it's, for the most part, worked out exactly like that, but you can't foresee every little tweak that has to happen, every little adjustment that has to happen. I think we work well. I think we have great input from Coach Burton, Coach Snyder, and, of course, Coach D'Antonio that's helped us along the way. But you can also see our defense grow and us grow over the course of the season.
Exactly right. And I feel the same way. You saw us grow as co-coordinators and how we work together and figuring it all out, how we wanted to get it done. And we've grown throughout the course of the year, and we're in the spot that we're in right now because of it.
Last question right here. Thanks. For Harlan, obviously you've been through the college level, but also the NFL level. Who would you compare Derrick Henry to? I mean, you've seen so many running backs over the last, 30 years. Is there anybody that, with that size and that speed, that fits into this 6'3", 245, 4'4" category?
I can't really think of anybody off the top of my head. Whenever I get those questions, I always go to blank. Of course, I'll think of something as soon as I get back over to the office. I'll think of somebody. But Christian Okoye was a big boy, but he wasn't that fast. Thinking of guys like that, Marion Butts, I'm taking y'all back now. But you asked when I played, so that's taking me back a little bit too. Those are big guys, man. You have to, wrap them up, get them down low. You can't take them on high because down low they don't weigh as much down low as they do up top. So I can't think of anybody in particular that's like that, but he's a big physical runner, good player, obviously, Heisman Trophy winner, and we'll have our work cut out for us.